From the TBD studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Melanie Hastings.
All right, coming up on the show today, if you're in the market for a new home, we're going to talk to a realtor about what questions you should be asking before you make that big purchase.
And a restaurant floor covered entirely in pennies. We'll tell you where this new DC hotspot is.
Plus, last night's Dancing with the Stars. It certainly has people talking. We're going to recap the show for you coming up. And that was an amazing piece of video there in case you missed it.
Yeah, there's definitely one of those we're going to talk about later.
Those aha moments. Well,
DC is about to get a brand new hotspot. It's called Lincoln Restaurant. It's in Northwest Washington, and it's got a decor like you have never seen. It took a team of people to cover the entire restaurant floor with 1 million pennies. 1 million pennies. Here to tell us more about the process is designer Maggie O'Neill and the owner of Lincoln Restaurant, Alan Popovsky. Alan, where did you get 1 million pennies? Let's start there.
Well, we found them on the street. We were able to contact banks throughout the region, and we have some relationships with some of the banks, and they were able to put together the the million pennies. It took a while. It took a better part of 3 to 4 weeks to get all the banks to mobilize the pennies, and that was just step one. And
it took about 4 months to build the floor. Yeah.
You know, you guys are at about Vermont and L Street in Northwest.
Yeah, right at Thomas Circle.
There's a Bank of America just down the street. Did you just walk in there and just for fun ask them for 1 million pennies?
No, actually, Bank of America was the least cooperative of all the banks. So I don't mean to be.
We'll move on.
No, just teasing.
All right. So where did you come up with the idea for the 1 million pennies?
Well, the concept of using pennies was always something that from the beginning we wanted to do, but I was actually on the phone with Alan one afternoon and said, we can't just put some pennies on the wall. We got to go for it. We're in Washington, D.C. Let's do it. Let's do the whole floor. There's not another place in the country that has a floor of this scale. There are other penny floors, but nothing this scale. And we're in Washington, you know, let's do it right.
Now, did you have to go through and make sure, like, all the Lincoln heads were up on all of that?
No. And I think you guys have some footage, actually, but there's about 7 other artists that worked on this project full time with me who would no sooner want to look at a penny right now than the moon. But those are 1 by 1 penny tiles that we made in the studio and then transported down to Lincoln and installed. And the fabrication of the floor took roughly 3.5 to 4 months, and then the installation took 1.5 months.
There are some pictures of the
there you go.
installation there. It's quite remarkable. But that's not the only thing that stands out when you're in the space. I was there for a party.
You said that.
A party a couple of weeks ago, or last week I guess it was. And you know, the decor it's a little bit like log cabin chic, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good with a huge nod to pop culture and. You know, I think they were incredibly cooperative and ambitious and excited about doing as many things that we could that would really be an expression of a freedom of thought and a freedom of expression. And my crew we're artists. I mean, you called me a designer, but I'm actually an artist first and a painter at that. So those paintings in the restaurant is kind of the genesis of where Lincoln came from and was our starting point as opposed to something that was more architectural. So.
And Alan, let's talk about the restaurant a little bit. What's going to be on the menu? What kind of place is Lincoln?
Well, our concept is American small plates. So American travels through, American now is pretty much everything from, every type of food that you can imagine. That's American. But
give me some examples.
Well, we have duck sausage rolls, so it's sort of like pigs in the blanket, but it'll have duck sausage in it. We have a number of different salads. We have tuna tartare. We're going to have several different fish selections, but everything is going to be sourced locally. Our goal is to source everything from local farmers here in the 5-state region, and to bring kind of like farm to table, because that's really what our concept stands for. So.
And it's an interesting blend of sort of an aesthetic we don't see very much in Washington and the locally grown food. How important was that in deciding that you wanted to get food from people that were growing it or
That's really important to me. You know, I've been in the restaurant business for 17 years, and I've developed a lot of great relationships with local farmers and dairy farmers around the area, from Pennsylvania with some Amish farms, right on through to Eastern Shore. There's a number of wonderful farms, and of course in Virginia, and that's really important to keep the economy flourishing here locally, and that's important to us.
It sounds fantastic. It opens on the 11th, right?
Yes,
on
it
Monday.
does. Monday the 11th.
Very exciting. It's in Northwest Washington, Lincoln Restaurant. Guys, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And when we come back, are you in the market to buy a new home? Well, if you are, we're going to talk to a real estate agent about the top 5 questions you need to be asking. And later, Melanie will be talking about spring hair trends. Check out our blog at tbd.com. Enter the words "Let's Talk Live." We'll be right back.